I want to start this by saying I have no script here, and this is not an ad for Call of Duty. And I say that because I want to start by saying a few positives about Modern Warfare 4. And the reason for that is because the beta just ended. I've been playing 8 hours a day, and there are a lot of negatives going around. And myself included, I've been saying a lot of negatives, and that this video is going to have some negatives in it. But I do want to say there are some positives with the game. And a lot of times it's easy for the negatives to outshine the positives because they're so in your face or glaring, you know? Like, for example, the matchmaking, and we're going to talk about that. But firstly, some positives. I think the sound design in Modern Warfare 4 is pretty damn good. In past years, people have complained that guns, weapons, just the shooting sound alone doesn't even sound like you're shooting a real weapon. It just sounds like you're shooting a squirt gun or, you know, a BB gun. I would say the amount of bass with all the weapons I was firing sounded good and they sounded beefy. I liked the sound design. I think the ambiance and some of the levels were also pretty good. Colorful maps. This is such a weird thing to say as a positive, but I think for most of us that have played for any considerable amount of time, we have played many, many years of Call of Duty where the color scheme is just orange or tan or brown. like everything, right? And so to have maps with, I would say, a bit of vibrancy and color to them is nice. It looks clean. It looks good. And I would say that about the whole game, honestly. I think Modern Warfare, aesthetically, Modern Warfare 4 looks pretty darn good. I think the guns look pretty good. I think the maps look pretty good. The colors are decent. The operators look pretty good in the menu when you're looking at them in game. Overall, and I played on medium settings. I didn't play on high, ultra, whatever. Medium settings. Most of that stuff looked good. Now, will that carry over into the full game? That's up for debate. Like, I don't know if like the camos are going to look clean or they're going to look chromatic or shiny or vibrant. They could look flat. Who knows? But I think because of how the game looks currently, it's probably a good sign for stuff on full release. Now, one sec, I gotta take a drink really quick. Now, I do not have a script here at all, but I had a few things just written down as topics. Perk choices. Perk choices, I think, were pretty good, except obviously the main glaring problem this weekend was the UAV spam with no ghost. That was annoying. That was fucking annoying. But this following weekend, they're raising the level cap to 30, which means you can have Ghost unlocked, and you're going to see how the map changes a bit when you are not constantly on radar. However, I'll also say that the map design, not good, and we'll go into that in a minute. I want to finish the positives. The Apex attachments, I think that was a positive. I like these. I think they're interesting, and they change how a weapon is used. I know it's not necessarily a new thing, because it's basically like a prestige attachment, but I like it. I thought another big positive is what I kind of briefly mentioned. The developers have been rather responsive with updates. You know, they've done a few weapon balance pass-throughs already. They've updated and tried to improve spawn logic and audio for footsteps and stuff like that. So I think that's good. It makes me wonder why we don't always have that throughout a game's life cycle, but at least it's going on right now, which is definitely where you need it the most, at the start of the game. So it's easy for the negatives to kind of outweigh the positives. Don't get me wrong. And we're going to go over the negatives here in a minute. I did my honest review of Call of Duty a couple days ago, and if you haven't watched that, you can. But this is more of an in-depth, nitty-gritty style. Like, we're going to be specific here. Very specific. So those were some positives. Let's go over the glaring negatives to begin with. Skill-based matchmaking. Yes, it was fucking torture over the weekend. Torture. I played so many full parties. I think I was stream sniped in probably 80% of my games, including when I had streamer mode on, because the streamer mode doesn't do much, really. So this year, if I'm playing Call of Duty, I promise you on my life, I will never fucking play the game on my main account. Absolutely never. I will buy the game or I'll have the game given to me, whatever. I will put it on my second account. I will never play on my main account. It is impossible for search and destroy. absolute torture. The fact that skill-based matchmaking, I'm playing some sweaty people. They all recognize me every game, and they're just in the stream every game. I will absolutely never play on my real account. The skill-based matchmaking, though, not good. They did test some open playlist stuff, but it wasn't for majority of that. And I think for the majority of the community, I say community meaning like all the Call of Duty players, they pretty much unanimously hated it in every mode. It was not fun in respawn. It was not fun in search. It was not fun in gunfight. If that was it sucked pretty much throughout all of it. Besides the matchmaking, and I know this is going to be a pain point for a lot of people, aim assist. As someone that prefers to play mouse and keyboard nowadays, I do not want to plug in a controller. I don't want to try to get better on controller because frankly, I only play controller on one game on fucking Earth. Call of Duty. That's it. I don't play a controller. Nothing. Literally nothing else. Because I don't want to. I don't find it fun. I did it growing up because it was all I had. And when I started learning mouse and key, I stuck with it and I had fun and I like it. And it's more fun now. And frankly, I don't know many people that actually enjoy controller once they've learned mouse and key. And I know you're going to be like, well, I do. I have a friend like, I don't give a fuck what you're saying. All of my friends, Dysfunction, started on controller, plays mouse and key. Wildcat, started on controller, plays mouse and key. Myself, started on controller, plays mouse and key. My buddy Damon, Karma, 5-time COD world champion, started on controller, plays it pretty damn well. Fucking hates it. Wants to play mouse and key, cannot do it. Because Call of Duty is a controller game. I get that. And I don't think aim assist should disappear. I just don't think it should be nearly as strong as it is. Just speaking facts, Call of Duty has not become more difficult to aim in ever, right? I would say probably the most difficult time frame for COD to aim in was Advanced Warfare, because you had very disjointed, aggressive movement with the jetpacks, and the aim assist wasn't nearly as good as what it was from Modern Warfare 19 and on. And so some of the fastest movement COD has ever had combined with some of the lowest aim assist it's ever had. That was probably the hardest it's ever been to aim in COD. Having aim assist be turned up a little bit for games like Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 because of the Omni movement kind of makes sense a little bit, but it's still ridiculously high. And if you were to, let's say, if you were happy even with the aim assist of the last two games, and then you slow down the movement with Modern Warfare 4, naturally you would think that you need less aim assist to keep up because the movement is much slower. But it's the exact same aim assist, which means it's extremely sticky and very, very hard to fight for mouse and key. Not to mention, if you're a decent controller player, you're gonna be good with aim assist being less. It's not like good players all of a sudden become bad. They just might miss a couple bullets here and there. And if you look at the success of the Black Ops 1 and 2 ports, I think it's fair to say that a lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people are okay with that. You know? And if you're afraid that mouse and key might have a slight advantage, first off, they won't. I won't. Second off, there are almost fucking none of them. There's like no one that plays mouse and key in COD anymore. You do understand that. They basically all quit to go play something else, or they did just plug in a controller if they actually cared about Call of Duty, like enough to do that. But most of us just don't play. We just went and played different games because they were more fun. I mean, including Damon. You think Karma's been playing COD? I can promise you he hasn't. He played War Dogs all weekend, even though the beta was going on. So there are plenty of examples. Most of the pros will also agree that the aim assist is really, really strong. So I hate to bring up that topic because I think it's a very polarizing topic for the community. But there's enough examples at this point that I think it's fair to say that we need to look at aim assist being reworked. And we can't do this bullshit where we revert back like we did last year. Because last year, I didn't feel like aim assist was bad, and they still fucking rebuffed it. But we're moving on past that. Skill-based matchmaking, aim assist, two main issues. I think a third main issue, after playing Search and Destroy, and Respawn a little bit, right? The maps were not very good. I liked the map, like I said, in terms of the color and how it looked. It aesthetically looks good. In terms of how it plays, most of them played like shit. From a search and destroy standpoint, maps were almost never large enough to get off a decent route and then push through a lane and flank the other lanes. Now, that is how I like to play search and destroy. Obviously, there are examples of you can play it other ways. For example, in Call of Duty World War II, I think that game was dog shit. And one of the big reasons that game was dog shit were the maps. World War II was a game where you basically walked 20 feet forward and you sat on a head glitch and waited. And you did that on almost every map. Call of Duty Ghosts was the same fucking thing, by the way. Also shitty for that. So, I'm hoping that a lot of the maps that we haven't played yet are decent maps to move around on. Maps, they felt very congested, and what would happen is I either have to basically sit on a head glitch and wait, and hopefully they move, which they might, but it's still a stupid strategy and kind of boring, and not typically how any objective-based game mode is played in the franchise. Objective-based game modes are supposed to always reward map control. If you can control the map, you can win the game. If it's going to be a battle of who can sit on their head glitch longest, that's a little boring. Alternatively, if there were a few spots that you could go that weren't head glitchy, they were absolutely dominated by close range guns. Like there was, I mean, it was basically, and since there's only two SMGs right now, the ISO and the PPSH, the ISO's been nerfed twice and I didn't want to use it much. PPSH was just totally trash. You basically just had to run them with a shotgun over and over. And so that just wore off. I don't want to do that forever. It's just kind of boring after like a little bit, you know? So the map design was not conducive to normal search and destroy playstyle. And I don't think it was very good. If you looked at, I mean, first off, I'm not even talking strictly about like Transit, that little map with a few buses on it. That map is obviously dog shit in every game mode. I'm glad we can all agree on that. But even the other maps, like Cachette was kind of a ridiculously hard map to play. You couldn't push through the mid lane because you get shot. If you pushed in through like one of the houses, it was going to be either shotgun or ISO, and there's usually two people in the house. You would get traded out every time. There was no room to move around and then flank a different lane. I'm trying to give you like a good example of a map that might be like that, and like what comes to mind is Meat in Modern Warfare 2023, and that was a better map even because that map technically had like 4 lanes. You had the far left hallway, the middle meat area, the street, and then the far right building, if you're on offense. That was 4 lanes. Cachette basically just has 3 lanes, and they're all enclosed, very isolated from one another, except for like a window jump. That's it. Or I guess that bottom middle door on the, yeah, but it's very isolated. And it's only 3 lanes. The maps feel insanely small. I thought sniping was really good, and yet I still couldn't snipe on most of the maps because I'm getting lasered by M4s, and the maximum range they ever would have to shoot at me from was like 40 meters at most. At most. I don't think there was a single situation ever where someone shot at me at a distance that would probably be the lowest distance of their weapon for a rifle, which means I don't think I ever got into a fight at any point in time on any map during the beta at all where someone shot me further than 50 meters away. Ever. Not a single line of sight. Now that can be good sometimes to have some lines of sight that are closer, for sure. But to have none that are long range, that's fucking asinine to me. Because there should be, a good map does have 3 or 4 lanes that usually interconnect with one another, which means you can go left to middle, middle or right type of thing. Whether it's through a street or a jump up or a crouch under or whatever. Additionally, all of those maps should have lines of sight that have some long distance, some close range, and some combined. And so there should be a long range line of sight in some of those, and there really weren't any except for like Lotus and maybe the rooftops, but even on then, it really didn't seem like it. So the map design really struggled in the beta for Search and Destroy. And I can tell you in Respawn, I wasn't loving it either, but I don't know if Respawn's going to be the same reason of why it's bad. I didn't think the spawn system was that great, really, in respawn, but. So, yeah, the maps, that's a pretty big, like, pain point right now. And so we're at 3 main things that, even though I listed those positives in the beginning of the video, these 3 main pain points are so massive of, like, they're such a large part of the game. The matchmaking system, the maps themselves, and then the aim assist, which involves basically every gunfight you're going to get into since 90% of players are on controller. Those 3 things are literally giving you more of a negative experience every single time you load in to every map and every fight you get into. And that's the problem. That's a problem. Could they alter some of that stuff? For sure. I think it's very easily, skill-based matchmaking could be lowered. They've been experimenting with that for a while. That could happen. Aim assist could be lowered. They've been experimenting that for a while. Definitely. The maps, that we're really just hoping on a lot of the maps that we haven't played yet are more similar to what we would be used to in Call of Duty, which are more mid-sized maps. We played what I would consider all small maps, except for Rooftops and Lotus. Those were mid-sized maps, except they were very narrow. Well, Rooftops isn't as bad, but Lotus was narrow. So, yeah. Nitty gritty, I told you, this would be very, very specific. I apologize if that's not what you were looking for from me, but I played a lot, and I wanted to get used to the game. And I leveled up. You're watching gameplay behind me. I leveled up multiple rifles to max level. Like the MAR was a lot of fun. The single fire marksman rifle. The sniper was almost max level, and it will be by the end of this next weekend. The high end burst max level. I tried a lot, especially tried a lot of things that other people weren't using. Because I can tell you right now, the weapon balance, I'm a little skeptical of how good that's going to be as well. If we've nerfed the ISO twice now on the first weekend alone, and the PPSH is still shittier than it, what the fuck are we doing? Not to mention, they nerfed the PPSH, which blew my mind. I can count, I think, on one hand how many times I died to that gun. I died to an ISO and an M4 almost every game, all day long, every day. I would say it's probably fair. And we don't have all the guns yet, right? But I would say, we have 2 LMGs, 1 shotgun, 2 snipers, or a sniper, 1 sniper, and 2 marksman rifles. So we're up to that one amount. 4 rifles. I would say we're at like 13 to 15 guns in the beta. I died to 2 of them for 90%, maybe 85% of my deaths. I rarely got sniped. I almost never got shotgunned. It was almost always an ISO or an M4. That was ridiculous. So in a beta, we're already limited to 2 guns. And it's not like they were just leveling it up. A lot of those people had M4s max level, and they were using the Hurricane Apex attachment already, and they were just still using the M4. Every game, didn't matter, offense, defense, didn't fucking, literally no matter what. So, which is annoying to me because I just get bored of dying to 1 gun all fucking day. I get bored of using 1 gun all day too, so I try to use a variety. And if the devs aren't going to force people to use other guns by nerfing them appropriately, then we're just in that situation where, unfortunately, kind of what we are every year, you know? Oh, I died to an MCW for 8 months straight. Oh, I died to a TAC 56 for 8 months straight. Oh, I died to an M4 for 8 months straight. Oh, it's like, I get it. Controller players get a hard on when they see a 30-round recoil or 30-round low recoil rifle in SMG. That shit gives you a stiffy, I guess, because it is all they fucking use all day long, every day, every map, every side. That's it. And maybe it's a problem with the matchmaking system. I'll give you that. Maybe it's skill-based matchmaking just giving me those type of players. But holy fuck, it is annoying. It was non-stop all I died to. And so if we're nerfing guns already, which is good that they are, but they're nerfing them in a way that they're still the best gun that people are still using non-stop, you are not doing your job correctly in nerfing those weapons. You're doing it wrong. Right now, they're focused mainly on reducing the headshot multipliers on most of the weapons, it seems like, and reducing the range of them. I don't know, like I said, maybe the range is the thing because all the maps are so fucking small, but it still felt like I was getting non-stop 4-bulleted by that gun, that M4, all day. The M4 was better than PPSH close range. That's how bad the PPSH was. And they nerfed the PPSH. So, weapon balancing, I'm a little skeptical about. Doesn't mean it's gonna be like that forever, but it was the current experience of the beta. That's where we are with that. Besides that, there were some bugs and glitches, of course, we ran into. Sometimes you spawned in before other people in a round of search and destroy. Sometimes my screen got blacked out from some bug. Sometimes the game was crashing and having errors. That's kind of stuff I'm not talking about too much in this video because that's what a beta's for, to fix those problems and to make changes based off of community feedback. But that stuff is minor in my opinion for most of the scene. A major issue that I'm sure people are going to talk about is the prox chat banning along with the cheating. And to be honest with you, I don't think Call of Duty has an answer for the cheating, nor will they ever. They will constantly try to reduce it, just as every other company would. But I can tell you that I've been cheated in every FPS game that I've ever played for 25 years. When it was just on Xbox, when it was on Xbox 360, when it was on PC, when it was on Xbox One, when it was on PlayStation 4, 5, 3, whatever. I have played cheaters in every game going back to Halo 2. When they would stand by, bridge host, put your IP and Cain enable in the block list and kick you out. Going back forever. Or they were flying elites shooting tanks out of battle rifle shots. Every game, every FPS game that's been multiplayer FPS for 25 years. Every game, without fail. So, will all of a sudden Call of Duty figure it out? Fuck no. No. They're going to try to reduce it. I hope to God they can do it somewhat well. What really needs to happen is they need to go after the cheat providers, one, but also they need to go after, what is it? The people using the DMAs and people using the AI shit. If they can figure out how, that's going to be their biggest challenge. Additionally, they're going to have to make it so if you do get cheated and you're playing ranked or whatever, you get back the SR that you lose. So there's a compensation system. And I'm telling you right now, the reason I'm talking about this is because it's going to be a problem in DMZ. Save this video, take a clip of this video, whatever you want. Cheating in DMZ is going to be a massive fucking issue. The amount of people that cheat in extraction games is insane. It's fucking crazy. I'm stuffed up, I apologize. So, cheating will be a problem. As far as the voice chat bans and comms ban, I mean, obviously that shouldn't happen for regular swearing. If you're going around dropping slurs in the game, let's be honest, you're kind of a fucking loser. Like, what are you doing? You're just looking for attention or something? I don't know. If you get comms banned for that, you deserved it. It's bottom line. Like, you can't just talk shit without saying that kind of stuff, really? Moving past, though, I think, you know, there's some other stuff here and there I would like to see changed, but I think we talk about the big stuff. The big stuff that affects basically everybody in every mode. You know? Cheating, comms ban, and that kind of bullshit system. The map design and how it works. The skill-based matchmaking and the aim assist. Those affect every game mode in the game. And almost every game, every match that you play in those game modes, I would say. The second beta weekend will start in 4 days on Friday. It is an open beta weekend. That means you don't need a code. Download the game for free. Play it yourself and decide if you think that that game is worth your money and time. Completely. I know some people will say, oh, you should have mentioned the gunplay or the movement. I actually don't think the movement's all that bad. There's a few things that are like a little weird where it's floaty on mouse and key. In the gunplay itself, I think they're trying to improve it by making the sprint to fire better and the ADS speed better. They did that already once, a little bit. So I don't really think that that's that bad. I think that's fine. I can get used to that, no problem. But play it for free. You will have your opportunity this weekend. Decide for yourself if this is a game that you think would be fun and worth your time or not. Totally on you. But that's the nitty gritty the very, very specific, I think, nuanced problems with the game. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry if it was a little too specific for you or a little annoying. I'm a little stuffed up right now. I don't know why. Could be allergies, I don't know. But thank you for watching. And if there are any devs out there watching this video, I hope you make it better. That's all I can say. I hope it gets better. Thanks again.
Face. Flash on my face.
They like pre-nated that shit.
Yeah, they shot it up.
Flanking, send it.
Oh, he's in our spawn. My bad. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a UAV.
Oh shit. Fuck, came through the blue door.
1v4, it's easy. He's got this. Other one dropped
Oh my
down.
god.
Right up here again. Little bitch. Oh my god, he slugged him! He slugged him!
My.
Oh!
Use the autism.
A helicopter!
Helicopter activated.
Let the autism flow through you.
Trust
getting
the
beamed
autism.
right now.
It's shooting.
Trust it. Let go.
Oh my
Autistic people
gosh, he
love
plants
things
in
that
because it's out in
fly.
the open. He's got a attack helicopter. My goodness.
I don't like that you don't really have a good spot to hide here, though.
Oh, it's shooting him.
That's my goat!
Where?
Nuts.
In there!
Damn.
¿Qué pasa?
Dude, nice clutch.